you've never seen Community seasons 1 and 2, and maybe 3, and then 4 is like, and then 5 is like, and 6 is like, oh, Yahoo, and then there's no movie. But yeah, these are the ZMF Aeolus. And they're not the first headphones I reach for when I'm going out to the store shopping or going on a trip, which trips 2020 called. But yet the Dethonray Honey 1 H1 exists. We'll discuss the name in a second, but this was sent to me, and it's it doesn't deserve it. There's no gemstone in the top, but it gets that wallpaper because the blues match, and it's $700. And it's a DAC amp, and it's a portable DAC. It's tiny. It's attached to my battery right now. We're gonna hook it up to the phone, but for now it's hooked up to my computer via USB-C. And you know, I don't know if it's charging actually, because I haven't done this long enough to have it kill the battery, because it's too. I almost promised myself not to take a product like this in for review, because I know exactly what I'm going to say, no matter how great it is. And it is fucking fantastic. The Dethonray Honey, D-E-T-H, Dethonray, the horny bonk, Honey, H1, is a pure, it's old school. And I'm kind of like out of the old school thing. Like, no one's going to attach a DAC amp to their phone and have the wire that loops around under their phone so they can play their headphones. I had the same complaint with the FIO Q3. But the FIO Q3 was affordable. And this is absurd. It's $700. It's balanced 4.4 pentacom. That's tight. 4.4 pentacom balanced with a 3.5 millimeter output or line out. Actually, no, it's volume control, right? We'll double check that. And an optical out, which fucking hurts my brain because I'm like, oh, it has an optical in. Okay, I could see that being useful. But no, optical out and standard, like little, I should say standard, a very, very fucking nice volume knob. Really short and hard to touch, which is good for portability because you don't want to accidentally spin this thing. It's a very stiff turning, nicely machined metal bastard. The only other options you have, you get a serial number, you get a high-low gain switch, which these switches feel like they're the switches to switch the firing modes on like a World War II machine gun on the bottom of a bomber. It's like legitimately you have to like click it over. Same here with the pre-out or line-out switch. They feel like the whole thing is made out of, it's a sandblasted aluminum case, and it feels fucking fantastic. Like, there's just a certain line you cross in cost where you expect as an audiophile to get expensive audio things and have them be nice. And this certainly passes the nice button. It's like, oh yeah. The backside is also just blue. I just have a Moto battery, blue tacked to it. We'll take it off in a bit. So the bottom, you get a blue flashlight. You get a USB-C that has a picture of a lightning bolt for charging. You have a USB-C with a picture of the USB icon for data, which is what we're currently doing. And my Windows 7 machine actually recognized it and it worked. And I'm fucking astonished because I was like, it's not going to work. Because it's using one of the newer AKM DACs, I believe. I'll just get that boring shit out of the way. This is Hi-Fi Go. It's on Hi-Fi Go and Linsol. And I might link to both. They're the same price, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, the AKM AK4497. So not a 99, but a 97. That's pretty good. Also, I'm very proud to announce that in my Google search, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm in Google, at the bottom of the results page, I was looking at, who's selling this? It was the Headphone one, and then boom, Hi-Fi guides. So there's 4 posts. There'll be more posts. All the way back in October, they made the post about this. So I'm proud of them. You've done well, Hi-Fi guides. You're coming very, very far along. Now, back to this. So it's a $700 USB inputting only, no Bluetooth, no optical in, no nothing, just USB DAC amp, and it's got a very decent DAC chip. And they won't tell me the power output. They give me that stupid, like, well, it's at this many ohms, it's this many volts. And like, I don't know what that means. I'm sure you could convert it. It's on the web pages. But it doesn't tell me that it's like half an amp, half a watt, 1 watt. All I know is I've plugged in many a high-end headphone to it, presumably that's because what it's for, and gotten amazing results, including headphones like this. You know, high-end headphones. Plug these in because, fuck it, these scale well. Into the 3.5 millimeter. Let's change tracks. Yeah. So it is a 3.5 millimeter out or balanced out. And then you can switch it to a line out if you wanted to not have any volume control and have a full. You can have it be your DAC, balanced or unbalanced. So it's like, it's doing all this high-end shit. I don't know if you're one of those. You ever see that guy, that meme with the Japanese guy with the stack that's like this tall? He's got like this big, he's carrying around like, and it's not even in a bag. Like you can just put it in like a nice bag and hide what it is, and you lift up the flap and you could probably see all like 12 devices he's got and close it, and you wouldn't even judge him because it's just got a headphone cable coming out of it. But no, he's got it like fucking rubber banded and zip tied together. This huge fucking $10,000 fucking stack. And I guarantee you this would be in that fucking pile. Because you could have a battery pack feeding the bottom of this, even though this has a 5,200 milliamp hour battery, which I don't believe, by the way. My friend who does like model airplanes and you know, remote control things is like, no. I have a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. It's the size of this entire thing. It's huge. But even with a 5,200 milliamp hour battery on balanced output, I'm assuming on high, 10 hours. So it's not even like an all-day 24-hour unit, even at this size and girth. And it's not super heavy, I'll say that. Even attached to my Moto mods, it's still pretty light. It's just so beautiful to touch. In the unboxing, if you follow the unboxing channel, I make this exact same sound of like, fuck yeah. So they don't tell you how much power it has that I can understand, but I can tell you that I've not had a headphone come to me where it's like, you know what, it needs a little more. It's pretty fucking solid all the way through. And now as far as how it sounds, because that's kind of why you're here. There's now a divergence, and this goes for like, this is the whole of Z reviews and all the amps and DACs I've listened to. There's now a divergence in the timeline, a split, where every headphone amp is starting to not sound the same anymore. But there's only 2 classes of headphone amp now. The linear fuckboys and the I don't give a fuck Class A rebels. Of course, like the Rebel amp and stuff is like Class A, it sounds completely different. It's like softer and it's a little bit more laid back and smoother. And then there's like the SH9s and the topping A90s where it's just like, holy fuck, I didn't know linearity could give me an erection, but it totally does. And we're starting to see this divergence through every product I get. And I don't know if that's just my brain doing it. If you've noticed that, if you're someone who's experienced a lot of them, like the 2020 products, I feel like because the THX 789, because of the THX amplification has come out and just like it stormed the whole fucking world because no one had ever heard true linear. It's that Rick and Morty episode where Rick flattens the garage and Morty's just orgasms as soon as he stands on it. That was like what the 789 was doing to everybody. It was like, holy fuck. Holy fuck. And then the topping A90 beat that in linearity, but yet it was still a little bit like more musical. And now every time I sit down, it's compared to that. And if it doesn't sound like that, if it doesn't sound like it's veering off on that course, then it's a fun, soft, pleasurable. It's more of that like old school audiophile, you know, smoking a cigar, listen to your wood speakers that are 9 feet tall. It's that sort of level of amplification. And I feel like this definitely veers towards that because I am enjoying the headphones I plug into it slightly more than I would on like the A90. The A90, that son of a bitch there, the topping A50S, linear boys, powerful, fucking clean, giving you exactly what, you know, the science gods have deemed this is what headphone amps should do. And then there's other ones that just step up and go like, yeah, we're just going to do our own thing. And I don't know what side I'm on. I can't play favorites because I'm a reviewer. I have to watch this war as a commentator. And then you have to decide if you're going towards exactly the Q3. The Q3 FIO, little portable, that is the exact same thing as this and has the exact same problems of not having Bluetooth, not being super convenient, is the linear side. And the Honey is called the Honey because it's like sweet honey. It's just, and it sounds so fucking good. So you have to decide. There's very few amplifiers that like skirt the line in the middle. They're very much diverging right now. And like if you had to ask me where tube amps are just the hippies parked on the side of the road. Like if you're at the Nürburgring and there's two people racing each other, tube amps are literally just the guys that are camping out and drinking. That's what they should be. That's what tube amps are there for. They're there to take the sound and not go so far to the fucking chill, relax, fuck you, that it's like, yeah, whatever. Music, man. Just man. Man, if every other word is man, that's what tube amps should sound like in my book. But now this is more like it aches. The music aches with the creamy goodness. Because I mean, I'm legitimately, these are $30 headphones when they're not $19 headphones with $10 pads on them. And they scale remarkably well. And by what that means is, in case you've never heard me say it before, is you plug these into like an old 6-year-old phone, they sound good. You plug them into like a decent like FIO desktop amp DAC, they sound better. You plug them into a $700 Dethonray Honey H1, they sound even better. It just keeps going up until I'm sure DMS at some point is going to have like one of those like $35,000 stacks that they have to test the Abyss equipment. He's going to plug these into it and it's just going to liquefy his brain into puddles. Multiple puddles. I don't know why it's multiple puddles, but the left and right hemisphere, I don't know. Because they just get better the better stuff you put on them. So when I plug it into the Honey H1, it's like, yeah, okay, I can listen to this all fucking day. AC/DC. Spoiling for a fight. You know, I want to hear a sad little caveat that I thought about before I started this review when I was upstairs listening to this. If there was a can gym again, ever, this is what I'd bring. This is what I'd bring. Honestly, I'd need to bring two. I need to bring the one from the fuck you linear, the heroin of bits straight into your veins linear side, and then one from, you know, team just chill motherfuckers. And this would be my team chill motherfuckers. Let's plug this. Actually, if I plug this in, am I on high gain? I am on high gain. Yeah, okay, no, you can't. You can't go to fucking maximum on it. You can't. I'm just sorry, you can't. But now let's do something interesting, because you see what blew my mind is that I had this thing running. God, that's very tight. I had this thing running and this line out / optical isn't lit up, which it has to be for it to have an optical out. So I'm like, why is it doing that? And then it turns out, I'll take the adapter off, I'll show you the wires and things it comes with. Turns out the optical only lights up when you have nothing plugged into the balance and then you plug something into this. So when I had the KPH30Is plugged into it, it was probably lit up, you just couldn't see it. So with the adapter, you could see it. And I plug this in here. Now, the IFI over here this is just acting as a converter. Like, it's not even doing anything. Like, that's what I don't get. Like, what's the point of having it output optical? Why am I buying a $700 portable DAC amp to then have it just be a USB to optical converter that's battery powered? Might be convenient for someone. I mean, there's been portable players like actual DAPs that have optical outs, and that's fine, because you'd bring a DAP to like an expensive studio room and you're like, all right, hold on, I have a digital output, let's plug it into your $25,000 DAC and everything. But that has music on it. Like, that is its own thing. This still has to do this through this to get to that. I wish it was an optical in. It would make my life easier for doing reviews. Just plug it in, take it out. So I don't know why it make the do. Giorgio Moroder.
I definitely.
We'll get to these. We'll get to these, and we'll get to this. We're gonna get to all of that, but not right this second. So just throw that over there. Let's make this not be computer. Let's make this be phone. And if you don't have a Motorola, you don't get these like cool interchangeable battery packs, so you don't get to do that. Now I have it blue tacked on there because I don't believe in like the cock rings don't make any sense. We all agree that the actual all right, because I have a pretty good audience, so I'm gonna get a bunch of answers. Who puts the rubber bands around like the things, like when Fio comes with a rubber band? These didn't actually come with anything, which is kind of interesting. It came with the optical adapter, this thing. I just had it. It came with this, with a little cap on it. So this came with the unit. And then this wire came with the unit. I'll take this off for a second. And I didn't know you could do this. So it's another reason I'm really like expensive honey. Like when you give me expensive shit, it's like, that's great. Because I didn't know you could have a USB-C to USB-C with a braided cable. Because I didn't think there was enough stuff to have like an 8-way braided cable between the two. But apparently that's enough for data. Maybe it's just data. I don't think maybe you could charge on it. Also, I'll link that ADT link cable, the flat one. I don't have it down here right this second. It's somewhere. But obviously that's what I would ask you to use if you're going to go in and then up and then down instead of having this thing stick off the bottom. That said, this is a nice fucking cable, metal connectors. So let's go into our data, and then we're going to plug this into the bottom of our phone. And you can see the reason I don't like these sorts of things. There are some times, however, with this unit that you have to turn it off and on again if you change. When I was going from the phone to the computer, even though the computer recognized it, it wouldn't output sound until I turned it off, turned it back on. So, I mean, I'm sure you're not going to be doing that a lot. There's also, this volume knob is not analog. I should mention that. That's digital. Because when you turn the volume fast, it doesn't just go, ooh, it goes, you hear it jumping. Because, you know, analog volume control, that wouldn't be accurate enough. So you could definitely tell this is not a $200 unit, it's a $700 unit. Echoplex is currently playing. Let's go back to you. Oh, yeah. See? It's on there now. Why is it on now? It wasn't on before. It's on now. Don't know why. Also, now we have a blue light on the bottom. By the way, there's lights on the bottom and the top. And I think it has to do with the bit rate, but I had blue and blue on both sides, and they're pretty bright. They're like, that's not dim. But when you first turn the unit on, I'm going to turn it off. Which should break that, or that'll start playing. When you first turn the unit on, it blinks like red, then white for a split second, then green, and then blue. Or now it's off, and now that's blue. So then I'll hit play again. Now that's off again, and there's no, it just does its own thing. It works, you can always get it to work. It's just like, why isn't it consistent with what it does? Yeah, no, this is exactly what I would take to go to a can jam or to a friend's house. Like, hey, yeah, could you bring one of your good DAC amps, Zios, so I can listen to my headphones on it? Yeah, I'll bring the honey. I'll bring the Dethonray honey. We agree that's what that says, right? Like it's the word death is written in it. Honray. Why are you so horny? Why are you horny? Yeah, no, it's such a good amp. It's for $700, it sounds like a $500 to $600 desktop setup that goes towards like the Class A. It's like the little Matrix Mini I. The Matrix Mini I, whatever the fuck it was. I'll link it in the description. That one was a DAC amp combo that was $700 or $800, $750. That sounds like this. So, I mean, like, take your fucking pick, boys. Make me. I actually actively want to listen to this thing. Like, more than I have already. I've already listened to it enough to know, like, okay, so I'll do the review. And I fucking hate the fact that I have to have it, like, USB plugged into my phone to make this happen. But this is, I just love the way it sounds. It's one of those addictive sounding devices. It's like, oh shit. Oh shit, the honey. Oh, high fidelity USB jack. Oh, by the way, the Dethonray, which it's a brand I've never heard of. It's one of those like, oh, who made what? An expedition in pursuit of supreme audio experience. And it absolutely is an expedition in pursuit of supreme audio experience. God, it's so good. Like, I don't want to like jerk off on it too much because then it'd be sticky. But yeah, as absurd as it is, like nobody needs this anymore. If this, could you imagine how much literal semen would be all over this if this had LDAC Bluetooth built into it? Could you, that's another reason like the fiber optic thing would have been like kind of cool to be an in, because then because if you could make something sound like this and then I could just have it in my pocket and I could just have my phone out and be like, this track. And then it just magic comes out of my pocket and plays my fucking $1,600 headphones and it sounds as good as it does. But it's USB input only. USB input only, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I love the way it fucking sounds. It's just, it's inconvenient. It's not convenient. But then again, we got to harken back to that Japanese guy with the stack that was this big. It was the size of a fucking Swan. He was carrying around a Swan M3A speaker. Going, yeah, this is fine. This is how I listen to music. I think he was listening to a modified set of Grados too. Here, I'll peel off the, I kind of don't want to do this. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God, here we go. This, boys, is called progress for you. Because blue tack is poster tack and doesn't leave any marks. So you just peel it off. In case you want to see the entire Dethonray honey. Boom. Honey H1. High resolution USB DAC designed by Dethonray Co. L Limited. FCC CEROHS. Do not recycle. It's a fucking beautiful piece. It's a beautiful fucking piece. I just it's got so many things that I want to thank it. Like if I was purely audiophile and this was just an audiophile review on some blog somewhere, I'd be like, this is the best sounding fucking portable amp deck I've ever heard. Congratulations, here's pictures and specs. But I'm CEOs and I gotta complain because there's plenty to complain about. The fact that I have to, like right now, it isn't just playing music. I have to have it like tethered. Oh, it's harder to get off the back of my phone because it's a textured rubber. Blue tack, linked in the description. Because cock rings are bad. Still has 2 bars. But the fact that I have to make the go, I have to do that. I mean, you can, it doesn't make it. I can get a longer one of these wires. You can get a longer 3.5, USB-C to USB-C, and then just have your phone out, tethered to your pocket. It's just, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that? Let me put these in there now. Which, by the way, pure coincidence that, and we're going to get, plus me, we're going to get to those gold planars. But they must be watching my reviews, because I always like, why doesn't anyone make an IEM cable for their expensive headphones? And they fucking did. And it just happens to match the cable that goes to the USB. So it's like... I'm going to change that when it's Uptown Girl here. You know, because now I have to think about if I'm really considering it, because this review has already gone off too long and no one's watching it. Does this sound better than like the FIO M15? Or I have this son of a bitch, and I'm going to have to compare against this, which is a Shanling M8, which is like $1,600. And should I hook this to this because I like the way I don't know if I like the way this sounds better than that because I haven't done direct headphone comparisons. But shit like this, like these expensive Shanling portable players, this sounds like it's what it would be, but it's not. Oh God. All right. I think I have to be done now. Go back to listening to Carol and Tuesday's Unbreakable because it's a great. If you've not watched Carol and Tuesday, I think it's on Netflix. Unless they're taking it on Netflix because they fucking do that shit. Just for the music, like every episode of that anime, which is done by the guy who did Cowboy Bebop, by the way, and they have oolongs, and it's amazing. Every episode is like a new song, and not like, oh, it's a new anime song. It's a fuck. It's the good. It's fucking pop music, but it's like the best quality pop music you've ever fucking heard. So get on it. Get on Carol and Tuesday. If I could link it, I will, but I think I can't link directly to Netflix. So yeah, I'm done. I'm done both praising and hating on the Dethonray Honey H1. Most of the hate comes from like, why isn't there Bluetooth? I don't even hate the price. Like, it sounds the price. It sounds the plus $500. I'm glad it's not like $1,200. Then I'd have like nothing. I'd be like, no. But I've listened to Desk Stacks. In fact, I just did the fucking whole Death Stacks thing. Desk, not death, but death on the mind. And this sounds fucking in that direction of like, okay, make all my shit sound like honey is poured on it. Versus like the topping A50s and the T9 and the THX. It's like linear. I feel like there could be a civil war. Not as good as the one that Marvel put together, but there might be a civil war at some point when we get too far away from each other. And there's got to be like that combining force of like, this is as linear as it needs to be and sounds like there's honey dripped on it. So yeah, I'm done. This channel, it runs off of Patreon and Subscribestar. If you'd like to support this channel and you'd like to see these reviews early and you'd like to participate in the yard sales, check that out. $5 a month gets you there. There's also currently, and I'm pretty sure this review is going to come out around January 1st or something, or sooner maybe, because I was supposed to bring this out like the 23rd of December. Meanwhile, that's like 2 days away. There is currently, to make up for not answering people's questions on Patreon, I have implemented a temporary $5 chat. So if you are a patron of mine at the $5 level, you can get all your questions that you want me to answer answered, just like they have in the $10 chat, just by joining my Patreon now. Like, it doesn't matter if you're old patron, new patron. For until January 20th, there will be a $5 Patreon chat. After that, I gotta ditch it. There'll be too many people in it. The $10 chat will exist, and I am officially announcing in this video, this might be the first one that comes out with it, a lifetime supporter chat. So if you've supported me for long enough and I can check how much, support you've thrown on my channel, you will be added to a channel that never goes away, never gets refreshed. You're a lifetime supporter. That'll be like for the real hardcore dedicated Zeosians. What are we called? Do we have a fan base? Zeos pervs? What are my fans? I know that people have like that thing. Anyway, check out my Patreon. Check out the Subscribestar. See these reviews early. Participate in the yard sales. I don't think I'm selling this. Like, I'm over here gushing over it. I'm over here listening to like. It's Devilman Crybaby. It's dumb sounding. But yeah, and then $10 tier behind the scenes private Telegram chat, which will be what's available afterwards, and then a lifetime chat. So you could be a $5 patron as long as you've done it for like 2 or 3 years. You're probably going to be in the lifetime chat. And then Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guide forums. Hi-Fi Guides itself was not updated in time for Christmas, and I blame entirely myself and DMS. We're busy, and it's a little bit of work to get like every spec for every headphone and stuff done. But the forums is just taken off. So thank you for everyone who's joined the forums. We appreciate you. If you're just visiting, that's fine too. We may start doing some banner ads on there to actually help pay for the server costs because they've doubled in the last like 3 months. Like that, well, since quarantine, it's sort of like gotten, why is there so much instability? And now it's like, well, just throw more money at it. Just throw more money at it. So I've been throwing more money at it. And now it's like, we should probably make this a profitable adventure. So we'll try to keep it nice. Hi-Fi Go, Linsol, Apos, places like that. Places that I link to all the time. Places that already send me gear. Places that I know won't fuck you over. I don't want to do like just random Google AdSense, although AdSense will probably pull in a fucking load. Should we make a Patreon for hi-fi, for the hi-fi guide forums? I feel like that's, because I mean, my Patreon is my Patreon, but DMS and I share the hi-fi guides experience. So I don't know, I'm brainstorming here on an end of a review of a DAC amp. I'm just gonna go. Yeah, no, I'm done. Shit.